We're off to Limerick now, where the milk market has a fantastic reputation for fresh produce and also for handcrafted items. And we went along to visit Lamhanna. It's run by Brandon and Mary Rose, and they use traditional methods and tools to make handcrafted jewellery, thus keeping alive Ireland's long history of jewellery making. The picturesque countryside of County Limerick is where you can find Brandon and Mary Rose gathering inspiration for their unique handmade jewellery. But it wasn't jewellery that first brought Brandon to our shores.
I originally came from Montana in 2006, and I came to Ireland because I was really interested in traditional music and in folk music. So I came and I was hitchhiking around the country and playing music in pubs and busking. And I used to busk outside of the shop of a silversmith, Derek McGowan in Westport, and he used to bring me in and give me cups of coffee and started teaching me how to make silver jewellery. And he would give me jobs to do around the place, you know, and I worked for him for about a year, and he kind of taught me the craft.
Brandon's passion for music was to bring him to Limerick to start a course in instrument making along with his girlfriend Mary Rose, whom he met while busking on the streets of Galway.
When we first came to Limerick, I seen signs for the milk market everywhere, but I could never find it. So I spent a couple of weeks just trying to find the place. And then when I found it, myself and Mary Rose were walking around, and we heard trad music coming out of Mary's cheese shop. So we started going in there every Saturday to listen to the music. Fantastic musicians in there every week. And we just really liked the market, I suppose. We used to go there every week. And Mary was saying, geez, you know, we should might as well have a stall here. We're here so much.
I first met Brendan about a year and a half ago, and he was a tourist. He came in, listened to the music on a Saturday morning. The market's very busy then, and he was all on his own, and I started talking to him. There was something special about him, you know. He's just a nice little boy from Montana. And he started talking about panning for gold, and I asked him could he make anything with the gold, and he told me that yeah, he could make bits of jewellery, and I kind of convinced him to go into the market and trade.
So we decided to take our €100 and invest it in a small bit of silver to see if we could sell it. And Mary Rose's teacher at the time from the fashion college gave us a small corner of her stand. She sells knitwear. Anyway, so we were selling the silver jewellery there for a while, and then we ended up getting our own stand eventually. And that's kind of what we've been doing ever since.
With a full range of jewellery and a weekly stall at the Limerick Milk Market, it was time to name their business. So where did the name Lamhanna come from?
We didn't want to come up with a name that was only jewellery specific, because we kind of intended to do other things in the future, to be making other stuff and selling it. So we wanted a name that had something to do with the hands or handmade or something like that. So we decided it'd sound a bit nicer if we did it Oscailga. So we called the business Lamhanna.
Lamhanna is a word from back in Mayo when I was a kid, and that's what I used to use for the word hands. And mostly people use the word lava generally around Ireland, but I thought Lamhanna had a beautiful ring to it.
Taking inspiration for their more modern pieces from their historical and natural surroundings, their signature designs used classic Celtic imagery such as spirals, combined with Irish coins to create romantic and timeless pieces that echo the mythical beauty of Irish antiquity.
The guy that taught me how to do silversmithing used to make pieces out of coins. So I started trying to just come up with a few just very basic ideas how to make sort of designs of my own using the same sort of idea, because a lot of people do like the old coins, especially since the euro came in and everything. You know, people get a bit nostalgic. We make sort of brooches and tie clips and cufflinks and kind of anything you want out of coins.
I think people really responded is mostly, I think they see the coin jewellery, the Irish coins, and that's what draws them in, and then they look at all the other stuff and they see how well handcrafted and individual the stuff is. That it's not something they're going to find in a shop. You know, it's completely individual, and especially that people can order custom-made pieces. You know, if they see something and they have an idea, they can just go ask Brandon and he'll make it for them. I think people really like that interaction, and especially at that price range. I don't think you can really, I don't know of anyone selling jewellery at that price that it's so beautifully handcrafted.
I want each piece of jewellery to be a piece of art in itself. So I try and get inspiration, just kind of, I can get it from anything around, but I really like taking inspiration from my surroundings, from nature and from historical sort of things that are part of the landscape. So you know, I'll find something that I like, and then I'll simplify it down to where it can be made into silver, and then I'll make it out of silver. But I really like every piece to kind of have a bit of a life of its own. I
think it's so important nowadays for people to really appreciate homemade and handmade things, because so much time goes into them, and I just think it's a beautiful thing, and that Ireland is getting more and more back into the way it was. I think it's so important to appreciate where everything comes from.
Having built their business starting with only €100, things are looking bright for Brandon and Mary Rose.
We want to keep making jewellery, and we want to keep improving ourselves and improving the business, and keep coming up with new designs, and try and keep it fresh all the time. And hopefully in the future we can just keep doing this full time, and then it'll be able to keep us going.
Some lovely handcrafted jewellery there from Limerick, and I hope you've enjoyed our stories about fashion and style from different parts of the country. We've come to the end of this evening's programme. We'll be back with you on Wednesday. Godishin on the Hainier of Wirrin, Iwahagwif, agus Godeshiv Slán.
And on next Wednesday's Nationwide, saving the true integrity of our heritage buildings. At the Traditional Skills exhibition, we see how painstaking craftsmanship is still available to lovingly restore our physical history. Meet the people who make sure those traditional materials and skills are still to be got. See the restored beauty of Farmley, which hosted the event, and meet a man who took on the daunting job of restoring an ancient tower house.
And next on One, the pressure is on with only 3 days left in boot camp. It's Dance Off.